The Dallas Cowboys suffered more than just a 44-30 defeat against the Detroit Lions on Thursday night. The team also lost star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who was ruled out in the third quarter with a concussion. The injury occurred during a high-stakes moment as Dak Prescott targeted Lamb in the end zone. The silence inside the stadium was immediate as players recognized the severity. The Cowboys' sideline showed instant concern. Lamb attempted to leap for a fade pass near the goal line, stretching fully to secure the catch. As he descended, his head struck the turf with significant force, causing an immediate and alarming reaction. He showed a fencing response, a neurological sign that often signals a concussion. Prescott sprinted toward him without hesitation, calling for medical assistance. The scene marked a frightening moment for both teams and fans watching nationwide. Medical staff arrived quickly and assessed Lamb's condition on the field before escorting him to the sideline. He was taken to the blue medical tent for further examination, a standard procedure for suspected head trauma. Cowboys players huddled nearby, visibly shaken by the incident. The atmosphere shifted from competitive intensity to concern for a teammate. Within minutes, the Cowboys training staff ruled him out for the remainder of the game. The injury halted what had been an impressive outing for Lamb. Before leaving the game, he recorded 6 catches for 121 yards, serving as the Cowboys' primary offensive spark. His ability to stretch the field had challenged Detroit's secondary throughout the night. Losing their top receiver mid-game drastically changed Dallas' offensive dynamics. The team's rhythm and explosiveness took an immediate hit. The Cowboys' locker room later acknowledged how emotionally challenging the moment was. Players expressed relief that Lamb was able to walk off the field under his own power, but remained anxious about his long-term evaluation. With Dallas fighting to stay in the playoff race, losing Lamb represents a major setback. The team now awaits further updates as they assess the severity of the concussion, the play that led to the injury. The injury occurred on a play designed to exploit Lamb's size, positioning, and leaping ability. Prescott lofted a fade pass to the back corner of the end zone, trusting Lamb to make the contested catch. As Lamb elevated, he gained slight separation from the defender but could not secure the ball on the descent. The impact that followed was immediate and jarring. His head hit the ground with full momentum behind it. Spectators and players recognized something was wrong as Lamb's arms extended in a fencing posture. This involuntary movement often signals disruption to the brain's motor response. Medical personnel rushed in as Prescott kneeled beside Lamb, staying with him until trainers arrived. The severity of the reaction heightened the urgency of the medical evaluation. Teammates stood back silently, many looking away from the scene. Within moments, Lamb was stabilized and assisted toward the sideline. The Cowboys' medical team followed concussion protocol precisely, ensuring Lamb had no further exposure to danger. He was escorted to the blue tent for deeper neurological testing. No cameras captured his full assessment, but sources on the sideline reported he remained responsive. The team doctors quickly determined he could not return. This marked Lamb's second documented concussion as a professional. His previous one occurred in 2021 against the Kansas City Chiefs, a game he was forced to leave and miss the following week. The familiarity with symptoms likely aided the medical staff in making a swift decision. Given NFL concussion standards, caution remains the top priority. Lamb's history places additional emphasis on protecting him from further injury. The Cowboys continued to monitor the sideline throughout the evaluation. Fans near the tunnel reported seeing Lamb leave the tent and walk toward the locker room shortly thereafter. His early departure served as confirmation that his night was over. The sudden loss of their star receiver left Dallas scrambling for alternative options. The emotional impact lingered long after the play ended. Lamb's performance before the injury. Before suffering the concussion, CeeDee Lamb was performing at an elite level. His 6 receptions for 121 yards provided nearly all of Dallas' explosive plays through the air. Lamb showcased his trademark route precision, using sharp cuts to create separation against Detroit's secondary. His ability to break off chunk plays kept the Cowboys competitive early in the contest. He looked poised for a career night before the injury halted his momentum. Lamb's presence forced the Lions' defense into constant adjustments. Detroit frequently rotated safety help to his side, hoping to minimize his impact. Even so, Lamb consistently found openings in the coverage. Prescott leaned heavily on him during key downs, relying on their chemistry to extend drives. Their connection remained one of Dallas' strongest assets throughout the first half. Losing that connection altered the flow of the game instantly. His 121 receiving yards carried historical significance as well. With that total, Lamb tied Tony Hill for the second most 100-yard receiving games in Cowboys history, with 26. Only Hall of Famer Michael Irvin has more, with 47. This marked Lamb's fifth 100-yard performance of the season, reinforcing his status as one of the league's premier wideouts. His production continues to place him alongside franchise greats. Lamb entered the game after battling injuries earlier in the season. He had already missed 3 games due to a high ankle sprain, impacting his availability throughout the year. Despite the setbacks, he remained highly productive whenever active. Thursday night showed his resilience and commitment to contributing at a high level. His return from previous injuries helped Dallas remain competitive this season. The trajectory of Lamb's season has been marked by both excellence and adversity. His ability to perform at an elite level despite physical challenges underscores his importance to the Cowboys' offense. The latest injury now adds uncertainty to his immediate future. His performance before exiting reinforces just how vital he is to Dallas' success. Losing him changed the complexion of the game instantly. The Cowboys sideline reacted with visible shock as Lamb remained on the ground following the hit. Coaches motioned urgently for medical assistance, recognizing the neurological nature of the response. Prescott stayed with Lamb until medical staff arrived, a gesture that highlighted their close connection. The team collectively gathered near the sideline as Lamb was helped off the field. Concern overshadowed competitive focus in that moment. Players later described the silence as unsettling. Even the Lions showed respect by stepping back and allowing the medical team full access. The league has emphasized neurological safety in recent years, and Thursday's incident underscored the importance of those measures. Trainers worked quickly but carefully, ensuring Lamb remained stable. Cameras showed teammates closing their eyes, praying, and regrouping emotionally. Once Lamb entered the tent, the Cowboys worked to regain composure. Coaches met with Prescott to adjust the offensive plan without their top receiver. The shift required immediate adaptation, altering route combinations and play-calling structure. Losing Lamb eliminated Dallas' most dynamic downfield threat, forcing adjustments on the fly. The emotional burden made the task even more challenging. The team struggled to regain rhythm for several drives. The sideline also prepared for wide receiver rotations. George Pickens, Ryan Flournoy, Cavani Turpin, and Jonathan Mingo were the remaining options available. Position coach Robert Prince briefed the group on updated responsibilities, emphasizing communication and spacing. While all are capable contributors, none replicate Lamb's unique skill set. The offense became more predictable as a result, allowing Detroit to tighten coverage. Dallas' passing game lost its explosive edge. As Lamb walked toward the locker room, several teammates stopped to check on him. Though he appeared steady, the concern remained significant. The Cowboys now faced the dual challenge of playing from behind and absorbing the emotional weight of losing a star player. The fallout from the injury continued to shape the game's momentum. It became clear this moment marked a turning point. Block 5, the challenge of playing without Lamb. Without CeeDee Lamb on the field, the Cowboys' offense became noticeably limited. Prescott struggled to find consistent separation among the remaining receivers. Detroit's defense capitalized by compressing the field and tightening coverage windows. The absence of a true WR1 forced Dallas to rely on shorter, conservative plays. Drives stalled more frequently as the Lions increased pressure. The offensive rhythm deteriorated quickly. George Pickens attempted to take on a larger role, using his size and physicality to create mismatches. However, Detroit adjusted by assigning help coverage and bracket techniques. Ryan Flournoy and Jonathan Mingo were utilized in rotation but struggled to generate explosive plays. Cavani Turpin provided speed but lacked the route versatility Lamb brings. The Cowboys' passing attack became fragmented. Detroit's secondary grew more confident with every snap. The limitations altered Dallas' play-calling strategy. Offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer began leaning more heavily on short passes, screens, and quick outs. The deep shots that normally stretched defenses were largely removed from the playbook. This allowed Detroit to crowd the line of scrimmage and disrupt timing. The Cowboys' offense lacked the unpredictability required to overcome a high-scoring opponent. Lamb's absence was felt on every drive. The run game found some success, including Javonte Williams' touchdown, but could not fully compensate. Detroit's ability to anticipate passing tendencies without Lamb simplified their defensive approach. Prescott was sacked multiple times as pressure increased. Without his top receiver, Prescott lacked a security blanket in high-leverage moments. The Cowboys' margin for error disappeared. Dallas' overall efficiency dropped significantly. The challenge extended beyond tactics. It affected morale. Losing a leader like Lamb can alter the emotional tone of the huddle. Players later acknowledged that the injury weighed heavily on them. Dallas continued to fight, but could not regain the spark that Lamb often provides. The offense played hard, but lacked the elite playmaking needed to keep pace. The impact of his absence was undeniable. Lamb's injury history and context. CeeDee Lamb entered Thursday's contest already carrying a significant injury history from recent seasons. He previously suffered a concussion in 2021 during a matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. That injury forced him to miss the following game, marking one of the few absences in his early career. The experience likely influenced the Cowboys' cautious approach Thursday night. Protecting Lamb remains a top priority for the franchise. Last season, Lamb missed the final 2 games because of a shoulder injury. His absence at the end of the year affected Dallas' offensive output and highlighted his value as a consistent playmaker. Earlier this season, he missed 3 games due to a high ankle sprain. The combination of injuries has disrupted continuity for both Lamb and the Cowboys' offense. Yet he continues to produce elite numbers whenever active. Despite the setbacks, Lamb has remained remarkably productive. His ability to accumulate 100-yard games at a historic pace places him among the most accomplished receivers in franchise history. He tied Tony Hill for second all-time with 26 such performances, trailing only Michael Irvin. This achievement underscores both his talent and resilience. Lamb's production rarely dips regardless of circumstances. The accumulation of injuries raises questions about workload, durability, and long-term health. While Lamb has shown toughness throughout his career, repeated head and lower body injuries warrant additional monitoring. The Cowboys' medical staff is expected to evaluate him extensively in the coming days. Concussion recovery timelines vary widely among athletes. His availability for upcoming games remains uncertain. Dallas faces critical matchups ahead, making Lamb's status a major storyline. His presence often determines the ceiling of the Cowboys' offense. Without him, opposing defenses gain strategic advantages that limit Dallas' playbook. The team must now balance urgency with responsibility as they prepare for the final stretch. Lamb's health will remain the organization's top concern. The injury to Lamb represents more than a temporary setback. It highlights broader challenges facing Dallas as they attempt to stay afloat in the playoff race. The Cowboys entered Thursday's game needing consistency on offense to keep pace with NFC rivals. Losing their top receiver complicates those efforts. The team must now evaluate alternative strategies moving forward. Adaptation becomes crucial during this late-season push. The Cowboys' depth will be tested as Pickens, Turpin, Flournoy, and Mingo prepare for expanded roles. Each brings unique strengths, but none offers the full skill set Lamb provides. Offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer must tailor game plans around the personnel available. Creativity and flexibility will be essential. The coaching staff now shoulders the task of reestablishing rhythm without their most dynamic weapon. Dak Prescott also faces increased responsibility. With Lamb unavailable, Prescott must distribute the ball efficiently and avoid forcing plays. His leadership becomes even more central to Dallas prospects. The quarterback's ability to elevate teammates can determine whether the Cowboys remain competitive. The offense must reinvent itself to remain functional. The loss of Lamb raises the difficulty exponentially. Defensively, Dallas must compensate by tightening coverage and limiting opposing offenses. Without Lamb, the Cowboys may face fewer high-scoring opportunities. This increases pressure on the defense to generate takeaways and create field position. Complementary football becomes essential for Dallas to survive the stretch. The team must correct issues quickly. Their margin for error is shrinking. The Cowboys' playoff hopes already faced challenges prior to Thursday's loss. The latest setback further endangers their position. With key tiebreakers slipping away and tough opponents ahead, Dallas must overcome adversity quickly to avoid falling out of contention. Lamb's recovery will shape the trajectory of the final weeks. The bigger picture for Dallas is now filled with uncertainty. Looking ahead, recovery, evaluation, and uncertainty. CeeDee Lamb's immediate future now hinges on the NFL's concussion protocol. The process includes multiple stages of evaluation, rest, and monitored activity. Each step must be cleared without symptoms before a player can return. Given Lamb's history, the Cowboys are expected to proceed with heightened caution. Concussions vary widely in severity, making timelines difficult to predict. His availability moving forward remains unknown. In the coming days, Dallas will receive updates from medical staff that will dictate practice plans and game preparations. Coaches must prepare for multiple scenarios, including Lamb missing extended time. The team's ability to adapt will determine their competitiveness in the remaining schedule. Players emphasized after the game that their focus must remain sharp. The season is far from over, but the challenge has grown steep. The Cowboys will also evaluate roster adjustments. Practice squad elevations or depth chart changes may be necessary to stabilize the receiver group. Coaches will examine matchups closely to identify opportunities for the remaining receivers to contribute. Players must step into larger roles with confidence. The team's identity on offense could shift depending on Lamb's recovery. Flexibility becomes a key organizational priority. Detroit's when exposed vulnerabilities that Dallas must address quickly. Without Lamb, opposing defenses can dictate matchups more effectively. The Cowboys must find ways to diversify their offense and protect Prescott from increased pressure. Coaching adjustments will play a major role in determining how competitive the team remains. Leadership within the locker room will also be essential as the Cowboys navigate uncertainty. Ultimately, Lamb's health takes precedence over all competitive considerations. His long-term well-being outweighs immediate football implications. Dallas hopes for a swift and complete recovery, but recognizes the seriousness of the injury. The Cowboys now face the dual challenge of caring for a star player while fighting to stay alive in the playoff race. The path ahead is uncertain, but still open.